Namaskar. Does the Supreme Court of the United States have nothing better to do? Why has it overturned the Roe v. Wade decision? It's really surprising that the Supreme Court of the United States, or called SCOTUS, has decided that the Roe v. Wade decision must be overturned. I don't know what was the thought process behind it, but in my opinion, the decision to abort the fetus is the mother's and the mother's alone. Can you imagine the kind of trauma a mother goes through before deciding to abort the fetus? You mean to say that the court is a better judge of when to do it and when not to do it? Are there any restrictions imposed, or is that going to be left for the states to do it? It is really sad that the Supreme Court of the United States, having sat on this for what? I think the first one came in 1973, so it's a good 50 years. Why change this law now? Why rile up the whole country on something where the country feels passionate about this? And why do you think that the government has better judgment over a woman's right to her baby? Because a lot of things start coming up once we decide that this is the path we want to go down. This is where things really get messy. This current Chief Justice, Mr. Roberts, was sworn in 2005. And for the SCOTUS judges, I can suggest you some other things that you can take a look at and reverse, especially in the field of intellectual property. So what's going to happen next? Let's take a quick look. State by state, these implementations will start happening. And state by state, the laws will get tweaked. A lot of time and effort and money, taxpayers' money, expended in doing this, which is essentially taking the country in the wrong direction. I want to make one thing very clear, viewers. I'm an independent. I'm neither a Democrat nor a Republican. I stand for America and what is good for Americans. And in my opinion, this is a huge blunder. Then what's going to happen? There is going to be unmitigated migration from those states that will be passing draconian laws on this particular subject, and those people will never return. Why? Because if you see what has happened in California, the governor, Gavin Newsom, has already announced in California abortion is legal and that it is a safe haven state, meaning that California will not divulge the details of what happened in California to the states from where the people who wanted their fetuses aborted come to California. Now take a look at a little bit more depth here. What happens to those who are too poor to move from a state that forces this to those that don't, so that they can get an abortion? What if they are too poor to do it? And what if the baby conceived was out of a drug-induced rape, or if it was out of some other situations like incest, or if that person is a drug addict and happened to have unprotected sex and has a baby? So these are all questions that the Supreme Court doesn't take up or think through these things, because in my opinion, a million guilty can go, but one innocent should not be punished. That is how justice should be. And I'm sorry to say that in this particular case, this test has not been met. Now, if the Supreme Court really wants to go back and overturn some of the laws passed, I would encourage them to look at the field of intellectual property and the kind of damage some judgments from the Supreme Court, and this is most important, most critical one, and I'll tell you why it is very important and critical. This is the judgment called eBay versus Merck exchange, and in this particular judgment, even the Chief Justice Roberts had weighed in, and I want to really overturn this thing because this killed the small inventor, and I'll explain to you how that happened. So this judgment was handed down in 2006, and up until then, what used to happen was if you had a product and if you had a patent around that product, patent if you want to think about in Indian pronunciation, if you had a patent, which is how it is pronounced in the US, and if you enforce that patent in a court of law, and you could take it to many courts. There were courts that decided these intellectual property related patents in 12 months, 14 months. So really quickly, you come out of the product, it takes a few months for somebody to copy this product. So you could defend it successfully. And by that, what I mean is if you got a judgment in your favor, then you could send that judgment to the customs of the United States, and any product that is deemed to violate that would be stopped at the borders. Imagine if that was in effect today. China would not be able to copy the intellectual property and rob everybody blind, especially the inventors. I mean, I can tell you some practical examples of how small inventors suffered, but I'm not trying to go on a rant here and say that that is why this should be overturned. The point I'm trying to make is that this was one of those most effective tools to combat piracy. And now the SCOTUS, since it thinks that it needs to go back and review other judgments, you can take up this one and set it right for the small inventor. Because if that gets set, then I can tell you America will be great again. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. If you think that this video was useful, please consider donating using the super thanks button. Namaskar.